Hello everyone, another podcast and another expert with us today. We're going to discuss about sports nutrition and kind of a little aspects around sports nutrition. And we have our in-house sports nutritionist who has been consulting a lot of celebrities as well as a lot of athletes as well across multiple disciplines. Today's podcast, obviously, I want to introduce you to Ruha Karambelikar. She's been managing a lot of athletes or other celebrities when she was working with a very renowned sports nutrition company before. Now she's obviously doing freelancing, working with Fit2Sport for quite some time. Welcome, Ruha, and share some thoughts on supplements.
Supplements, in my opinion, are extremely overdone. Overestimated things. What people forget when they look at supplements, whey protein powders, any other powders, or even pills and tablets is, where is your basic roti, sabzi, dal, chawal being aligned? That needs to be aligned first. Supplement, if you go to the dictionary and find out the meaning of supplement, you will understand supplement is something which adds to your basic, which adds value to a basic important element. Your basic important element is roti, sabzi, dal, chawal. Align that first and then add in supplements if they are required to it. More often than not, in athletes or in sportsmen, we see today in our clinic also, sir, their basic roti, sabzi, dal, chawal is not set according to RDA and plus, because RDA is for a regular child or a regular person. And if you are a sportsman, you need 200 to 1800 calories more in that. That is where supplement comes into picture.
Right.
Your basic roti, sabzi, dal, chawal is set to see whether your nutrients are going correct or not, your minerals, your vitamins, your electrolytes are going fine or not. And then above and beyond that, if you need anything additional for your body to make sure that the growth is also going well and the performance is also going well in the sport, you need to add a supplement.
Correct.
So that is my thought process in that. I am not anti-supplement or I am not pro-supplement either.
You cannot be, as you rightly pointed out, it is got to do with correcting the deficit, if any, first with the natural ingredients and then to add. And obviously, a lot of players who are competing at the highest level, their intensities of trainings are very different than what a normal recreational athlete would do. So obviously the requirement of calories is different, and that is what nutritionist's role is to identify those deficits and correct it first by diet. But you cannot have 25 eggs in a day, right? And so you have to have certain supplements to it, add to it, so that it becomes a practical diet. So this is one part, just to touch base on the type of supplements that is market is flooded with. Lot of conferences and whatever we attend, we listen to a lot of followers all over the world. They say that doping, which is very fairly common, which is inadvertent doping or whatever, they probably do it for performance enhancement. Supplementation do play a massive role into this kind of we can say not very healthy form of performance enhancement. So how do you guide these people into choosing the right supplementation?
When you go for a higher level competition, international competitions, there is something that you have to go through, that is anti-doping test. There is an agency called World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA approved. There are supplements which are WADA approved supplements. We over here at the clinic, Fit2Sport, what we do is we make sure that the supplements that are given to you are WADA approved supplements. So there's a list of supplements which are okay to be given, and there is the supplements which are banned, which are not supposed to be given because they will come under the scanning. So we make sure, as a dietitian, as a sports dietitian, I would make sure that I would give you the supplements which are only WADA approved supplements
Yeah.
in your nutrition plan.
Basically, just to add to it, WADA approved in the sense, they are tested. I mean, they don't contain any enhancing substance, is what she means. Because to whatever we read that WADA actually doesn't endorse any supplementation, but there are certain labs which are WADA approved labs where they certify these particular products and they are safe to use. And because our experiences have been that these supplements will be used in athletes and they even have got tested, they obviously come clean because these supplements don't have any bad elements in it. So very very important thing to kind of tell all our viewers that you have to ensure that whatever supplements you take, you have to take help of the experts and then kind of start consuming it before, because testing doesn't even, I mean, not necessarily happens only at international levels. Nowadays, right from school levels and kindergarten levels, they've started to do some testing. And anybody wants to, kind of have their podium finishes and things like that, but they get into these wrong habits and possibly some misdirections, in terms of energy.
So there is one example I would like to give over here is whether that supplement suits you or not is extremely important, like you rightly said. Just an example, whey protein is of 1,000 types. Some whey protein some whey protein powders have got lactose in it, some whey protein powders don't have lactose in it. As a dietitian, what I would look for is to understand what the gut health of that sports client is or sportsman is, and whether they are intolerant towards lactose or not. If they are keeping on taking whey proteins which have lactose content in it, their gut is going to go for a toss.
Correct.
So these are the small things that are required for a person to understand, and that is where a certified dietitian or a clinical based dietitian, sports dietitian would come into.
Right. Parallel to this, there are a lot of theories now shifting a little focus towards the normal population, where a lot of people who are struggling with their weight loss programs. So these people tend to follow some standard or other popular diet plans. What is your, I want you to throw some light on whether be it this intermittent diet kind of a thing or some keto diet, something of that sort people do, and there are certain standard diet plans that have been there on the social network and media and things like that, and even on the internet that people go and follow. Especially some herbal products which are there, and people tend to get attracted towards it because of certain results that they kind of see. So how do you look at this? Whether these are the proper things to do and especially for weight loss, people are more concerned about weight loss than if you are weight gain. But yeah, so how do you look at these aspects of different diets?
Sir, these diets do not come completely into the set or into the form that we dietitians like to call crash diets. Crash diets are something that will give you, that will actually remove one part of your entire nutrition regime. For example, certain vitamins, certain minerals are going, getting deficient in those kind of diets. Those diets are not completely thought through from a medical perspective. Fortunately, intermittent fasting diets and keto diets have kind of come into that phase where people are promoting it, and it does make sense in some ways. For example, if I tell you keto diet, it's not only good for people who are into sports, people who are into weight loss, people who are into any other. It is also very good for major medical issues like epilepsy. People are using those diets in order to reduce seizures or in order to bring in a better health value. As far as intermittent fasting diets go, sir, intermittent fasting diets, again, they have shown very good results in losing weight, and they have shown very good results in reducing HbA1c levels in diabetic clients, or even controlling the fasting and postprandial sugars. So they have a certain base of medical logic in them, And but there is one thing, you need to do these diets, or you need to do these kind of fast diets under observation or under
Exactly.
experienced
Correct. So my
people.
basically point was you cannot generalize these things. Is
Yes.
what. Even if you want to follow a particular pattern, I
Yes.
think it is more important to take guidance from someone,
Yes, sir.
whether it is required, whether it suits you or not. Forget about the supplementation part, but at least these forms of diet are they ideal for you?
Yes.
Is it going to help you,
Sir.
or for how long?
Sir, we in our clinic here, what we are doing is we are getting a blood test done for clients. So we are doing it from a very scientific perspective. For example, you have a blood test coming to you, your lipid profile tests have come in my hand, and I tell you your cholesterol levels, your triglyceride levels, your LDL levels are very high. In that case, giving you a keto diet is something which will be alarming for me as your medical dietitian, or even as your doctor. He would say keto diet, you really want to go ahead between 70% of fat content in your diet when your cholesterol levels are going up and down, while your triglyceride levels are not taken care of as yet. First, you get that back on track, and then you start doing these kind of nutrition diets. So not all are suitable for keto diet, not all are suitable for intermittent fasting diets. If you have any underlying medical issues, then you would want to, consult with your doctor first, consult with your physio first, consult with your dietitian, and then go ahead and start following these diets.
Right. So I think this is a
So
very
that's the other
important,
one.
very important aspect which everybody should know. Before we kind of end this whole podcast, one very important topic which I want to kind of start off with, which is genetic testing.
Okay.
So we have seen now, we've been using it in our clinic, and how useful it is for both. Obviously, I just want to, before you start talking about the importance of gene testing in nutrition, I just want to make clear one thing, that yes, it is kind of a newer test, and gives a lot of information about the genetic makeup of that particular individual. Especially in athletes, if you do it at a younger age, you can definitely understand whether from the physical part of it, whether you are an endurance athlete or whether you are a power athlete. So there are a lot of differentiations that you can come up when you can understand a little more on it. But from the nutrition aspect, it is very important again for a lot of serious athletes. I mean, it is important for all, but especially for athletes who want to kind of make sports as their career. How do you look at this genetic testing for nutrition, and how do you think its role going forward?
Uh, this actually reminds me of the first question that you asked. What is the age at which we go ahead with it and everything? Whether it's okay to do it at the age of 21 and above if you have not done your nutrition well till that time, you have come at the age of 21 now. Whether we can still go ahead and do it properly or not. This is the point which I would say. At the age of 21 plus, you need to then do genetic testing to understand whether you are on right track for the nutrition part or not. However, genetic testing for nutrition is done for kids as small, or babies as small as 6 months old. You start from there because your genes never change. Once it's set, it's set. God has gifted you those kind of genes. So I'll tell you very simply what is genetics or nutrigenomics, that is mixing nutrition with genes. What is it exactly? So basically 50% of your genes is coming from your mother and 50% genes is coming from your father, making you a complete pool of genetics. There are over 26,000 genes, and these genes need to be coded or decoded, I would say, in order to understand from a nutrition perspective which minerals are getting absorbed very well in the body, which minerals are getting deficient in your body from a genetic perspective. So how much ever blood tests you do and how much ever supplements you take, if your genes is not strong enough to hold that, or the capacity to hold that nutrition in your body, then it's always going to come low. So that's number one. Number two is like I said, it can start from as early as 6 months till whatever age, 60 years old can also. It's a one-time test that we do, and from a nutrition perspective, up to 36 gene traits is what we are, taking care of. And from a fitness perspective, up to 16 traits is what we are taking care of. So let's say a client of 25 years, 26 years, or even younger, very young clients, 12, 13 years old, are coming to us, and they say they are into gymnastics, or they are into sports which need a lot of flexibility. There is a gene trait that we check which is for flexibility, whether your flexibility by default genetically is good or not. If not, what do we do about it? Whether we do collagen for them, whether we do vitamin C for them, what kind of nutrients need to be added to enhance their genes to perform better. Then there is, say for example, I give you vitamin D. A lot of people in India have got vitamin D deficiency. Almost all of them have vitamin D deficiency. I had vitamin D deficiency. So in genetic testing, what we see is whether that gene is getting absorbed well or not. If it's not getting well, you cannot live like that. You have to do something about it. So this is more of a precautionary measure rather than a curative. We were only in curative phase up until now for nutrition. Now the new set is coming up, or the new thing that is coming up is plan for future, plan ahead.
Right.
So it's almost like your body is like a Ferrari and you need white fuel for it and you are giving normal petrol for it. So that's the thing. So for genetic testing, I would say Olympic level clients internationally who want to aspire to go internationally with their competitions, they need to plan for future. Everybody is doing it.
Right.
So they need to plan for future, they need to get their genetic tests done in order to make sure whether they have deficiencies, why they are having deficiencies, and what can be done better in nutrition in order to enhance their absorption capacity or support your genetics, basically. So it's a customized plan.
Correct. So basically, just to sum it up, I know that this is a huge topic. We can't cover it,
Yes.
Nutrition as such is a huge topic, but some takeaways which people will understand more about the new aspects like genetic testing and nutrigenomics that we are getting into, and how helpful it is. So basically, there are two major things that everybody needs to understand. That having a proper nutrition not only helps you perform better, but there are a lot many other aspects of daily living and healthy living associated with it.
Yes.
So having a individualized proper guidance for your own diet plan, as I said, depending on your goals, is very much required. And for athletes, it keeps on changing as we change the intensities, it keeps on changing pre-season, it changes in competition phase, it changes in post-competition phase, what needs to be done for recovery. So I'm sure that we're going to have another session with Ruha later when we talk about very specific stuff, but definitely these things will open up some thought process into athletes and other clients, so that we start thinking seriously about it. So thank you, Ruha. Thank you so much for your inputs, and I'm sure we'll definitely have another session soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.